Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny Allen. So before we get started with today's video, please make sure that you are subscribed, that you thumbs up this video and turn on your notifications. So let's continue on our journey with Proverbs. And today we're looking at Proverbs chapter 10, and today is day 10. And Proverbs chapter 10, these are my observations from Proverbs chapter 10. Each verse is a statement in itself. So I've highlighted a few verses that I'm going to look at with you for you to be able to see what I'm talking about. And then the next thing is the chapter gives guidance on what happens to the righteous, the prudent, wise, and then what happens to the foolish, undeserving, and wicked. Now, each verse contrasts, so you have an option on how you live your life. It's like an either or. The righteous man does A, but the foolish man does B. The foolish man goes high, the wise man goes low. So there are options. There are options in these verses. And I really like Proverbs chapter 10, because I said there is a each verse is a meal in itself, and each verse has its own statement. So let's have a look at some of these verses that I really enjoyed from Proverbs chapter 10. So let's have a look at verse 4. Let me just zoom in so that you can see. There we go. So let's have a look at verse 4 so that we can look at some of these contrasting statements and, how to living the contrasted life. So let's have a look. Verse 4. He who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. So they are the contrasting statements. If you have a slack hand, you become poor. If your hand is diligent, you make rich. So there are your options. You have a choice on what kind of hand you want to live with. Verse 7. Let's have a look at verse 7. I'll just push that up there. Verse 7. The memory of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wicked will rot. The memory of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wicked will rot. There is your contrast once again, and it's a contrast on how would you want to be remembered. What memory will people have about you when you pass on, or when you exit out of their life? What kind of memory will they have of you? Would it be a memory of blessing, or would it be a memory of wickedness? There's an option there as well to choose. And let's have a look at verse 11. Verse 11. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. There's a choice here. How do you want to use your mouth? Do you want your mouth to be a well of righteousness? Do you want your words to be words that give life? Or do you want the words that come out of your mouth to be violent? Because people can say horrible things, they say cold things, they say things that are really nasty, and that gives you a violent mouth. But if you speak words of kindness, words that uplift, your words become a well of life to the hearer. So we need to choose. This is the contrast. We need to choose. Okay? And then we're going to have a look at verse number 19. Verse number 19. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. So basically, think before you speak. Sometimes we can say too much and we can end up saying the wrong thing. But if you restrain your lips, think before you speak, you have lips that are wise, because he who restrains his lips is wise. And then verse 20, the tongue of the righteous is choice silver, the heart of the wicked is worth little. There are your contrasts. So Proverbs chapter 10 is a chapter of contrasts. And I hope by highlighting these few verses that you can see, where the contrasts are. Each chapter in the book of Proverbs is very meaty and has a wealth of information in each of these chapters. And I'm just highlighting and giving an overview in this mini study because I want it to encourage you to go and study them for yourself. Let's just do one more. Oops. Let's just do one more. Proverbs 27. Yeah, Proverbs 27. And it says, the fear of the Lord prolongs days, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. The fear of the Lord prolongs days, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. There is your contrast once again. Living in the fear of the Lord, the wisdom of the Lord, it prolongs your life because you live a life of wisdom. But the years of the wicked will be shortened. So there again, you choose. We have choices. God gave us free will. We have a choice on how we want to live our life. And Proverbs chapter 10, highlights a lot of those choices. Watch how we live. Watch what we say. How do we use our tongue? How do we speak to people? Do our words give life or are they poisonous? And then, it says here, the fear of the Lord prolongs days. Do we have a respect for the Lord? How do we respect God? What is our relationship like with the Lord? So to have a long life, we have to fear the Lord. Obviously, we have to go in, and I'd advise you to go in and study what that word fear means in the Hebrew, so that you get a complete understanding of Proverbs chapter of verse 10. Of verse 10. Okay, so that is the Bible study, mini Bible study for today of Proverbs chapter 10. It's a chapter of contrasts. It's a chapter of contrast. Each verse gives what happens to the righteous, prudent, and wise, and then what happens to the foolish, undeserving, and wicked. Each verse contrasts, so you have a choice or an option on how you want to live. So how do you want to live your life today? If we are someone who may be erring on the side of being foolish, then through God's word we can make those adjustments and we can live a more purposeful life that will be a blessing to others. The choice is ours. But let's endeavor to live a good life, to live a wise life, so that the words that we speak, so that the choices that we make are a blessing not only to ourselves, but to our family and to those around us. Okay, so thank you for joining me today. God bless you. Make sure that you're subscribed, you thumbs up this video, and I'll see you in my next video tomorrow. Okay, God bless.